A cafe conversation. A cafe conversation. It's a cafe conversation in the ladies' room. 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 A cafe conversation in the ladies' room.
Good evening, and welcome back to Cafe Conversations with the Ladies Room here in the cafe in East Strasbourg on a rainy Thursday evening.
How about
Okay, and I'm hungry because I didn't stop to get no food along the way.
And it's hot.
Okay,
It's hot.
it's hot.
It's
Yeah,
hot.
it's
muggy.
muggy.
Mm-hmm.
It's muggy.
Yep.
That
yep.
don't do nothing for this.
Nope. No.
But that's another conversation, okay? We gonna have that on another show. We gonna do hair on another show. Hair, okay? Because we need to talk about it. I ain't gonna listen. We women of color, okay? We go through trauma with our hair, okay?
Yes.
So we need to
Because
talk
this hair
about
right
that.
here, it can be way more curly, but my mousse spilled out in my bag,
Oh,
and I didn't put no water.
oh.
So you know how that goes.
So wait.
Honestly.
So you got the crunch going on?
No, this nice stuff. This
Oh,
good.
okay,
This-
okay.
this
Listen,
human
as long as
hair,
it's
but,
flowing,
you
you
know.
like, yeah.
It's just that I like puffy, but I could have tamed it down a little bit, and I didn't.
Yeah, I have to get used to volume in my hair.
I love volume.
19.
I love it. You don't like it?
I got like a long chin, you know. So
Oh.
volume and chin, it just
It don't
It
go?
don't go. It don't.
Oh.
It don't.
Well,
Well, this fat face need volume.
well, hopefully your hair is hanging in there with the humidity today, you know. But y'all look beautiful from what I see. Okay, y'all look
Yes, y'all
beautiful,
look
so
beautiful.
don't worry about it. But welcome into the cafe tonight. Tonight we got some good stuff we're gonna talk about and stuff. And I'd like to do a shout out. She was with us once before. We had some technical difficulties that
Right.
day. We had to end the
Word.
show, you know, a little bit early, so we didn't get a chance to really talk to her. But we got her back finally.
Yes.
In person.
Finally,
In
in
person.
person this time. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in the cafe we have Miss Shania Watts, founder and CEO of In Her Beauty. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome,
Thank you.
darling. Welcome. How are you? How are you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited about this conversation, actually.
Oh yes,
Because we all have them.
Yes.
Yes.
We have them. We have them. Well, we gonna hurry up and get to this because I want to use the whole hour today.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
to
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about this conversation.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get through the preliminaries. As you all know, we have our.
Everybody eats.
There you
Everybody
go.
eats, Project.
There you go. Oh, it
Got
happens
you. I
to me
got
every
you.
single
I
time.
got you.
Jesus.
I know where we
All
going
right,
with this.
there we go.
Yes.
She on point, y'all. She on point. I haven't eaten, so my
She
brain
does
is still
all the
scrambled.
talking,
She's
but I
on
know
point.
what she's gonna say.
There you go. So everybody eats is on board. We are out and about, hitting the pavement as usual. Okay. If you or anyone you know happens to need help or assistance, you can reach us by phone, 570-223-4503. A little love goes a long way, and we got some for you.
Yes,
Don't
ma'am.
hesitate to call. All right?
Scared of you.
Woo, there you go. I'm on point. I'm on point.
Yes.
The Metamorphosis Healthy Living Initiative.
That's right.
Healthy Living Initiative. All righty then. Okay. Well, we're still doing our walk-ins.
We
Monday,
doing it.
Wednesday, and Saturday. Yes, I wasn't there Wednesday. Don't judge me.
And
had
yes,
some
I was
issues.
late Wednesday.
Okay.
Don't judge me.
I had some issues, but this is real stuff, and this is why we said, you know, we're gonna check in and we're gonna do this journey along with y'all because we want y'all to know that we understand it's real. Things happen, you know. We commit to it, and then sometimes we can't get there. Me personally, I was, you know, having a bad stomach morning, but too much information for you right now, so I'm gonna keep that to myself.
It's a
All right?
struggle, girl. It's
Yes,
a daily
it's
struggle.
a struggle, but we do have we have Zumba tomorrow, 5 o'clock. So those of you who are, gonna be home doing nothing, you need to be coming to do Zumba with us, not doing anything. Okay, we will be meeting at 4:45 at 130 North First Street, Stroudsburg, okay, at Salt of the Earth Ministries in the not the sanctuary, in the rectory area. Okay, so if you do come to the back of the building, okay, you'll see my SUV back there, and the door will be open, and follow the music.
We're not going to tell
That's
you
what
what her
we're gonna do.
SUV looks like, but she'll be back.
No,
don't
no.
do that.
Just follow the music. Just follow the music, and I like that. But yes, we would love to see you in Zumba tomorrow. Okay, Saturday morning at 8:45. We will be at walking. Yes, we will be walking at the mall, Stroud Mall, on 611, 8:45. Meet us there. Let's get those 10,000 steps in.
I'm only at 5,500, but I'll see what I can
That's
do.
all right. I was at 5,500 this week too, but 10,000 steps. We're gonna do the best that we can. That's all
right.
that we ask.
I'm going to
Okay?
build.
10,000 steps. All right. She's Coming Home initiative partnership with A Beautiful Heart Ministries, founded by Clover Perez, New York City. Okay, is up and rising. Good things are happening. So we're looking to get this off and running by the end of June. I'm so excited because we'll be taking in and servicing our first set of women who are being released from prison going home.
Okie dokie.
Okay, here in Pennsylvania.
Hey.
So, whoop! 2 claps for us. Yes,
a
Metamorphosis doing big things, okay? And last but not least, the Passion Project Women's Health Fair will be taking place on May 22nd from 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Dansbury Park. Okay, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. I almost said East Stroudsburg, New York. People will be like, where's East Stroudsburg,
Right.
New York? No, East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. But if you want to drive from New York to come and join us, please do. We'll be more than happy
New
to see
Yorkers
you.
would have been like, she don't know what she talking
You
about.
know what I'm
Honestly.
saying? There ain't no East Stroudsburg,
Ain't no East
New
Stroudsburg
York,
here.
All right. It is a free event. A free event. And I'm stressing free. I'm going to tell you why I'm stressing free. For anyone who, if you have insurance, you're welcome. But for those of you who do not have insurance and it's time for your mammogram or your cervical screening, you need to be there. Okay? LVHN and Adagio Health, okay, is partnering with the Metamorphosis Women's Empowerment Initiative and the Passion Church for Christ, okay, on this initiative so that we can get women who are uninsured, and even those who are insured, okay, their health screenings for the year for free. I say it again, for free. There's no reason for you not to come because it's for free, which means all you have to do is go online and register so that you can secure your spot so you can have your exam done. And then when you finish with your exam, have free lunch on us. Yes, 300 people will be fed on us. Hurry up because I'm going to eat 4 times. So, I'm gonna
And
eat
the
4
food's
times.
hot.
And the food's hot.
It's not no
And you get
sandwich.
something to
It's
drink.
hot.
I'm just saying, it's the
know?
whole shebang. Okay, and then gift baskets are being given away.
Yes.
Nice.
They're being
All
raffled
right,
off. Yes.
everybody who comes to the event will get a ticket
free.
upon entry.
You don't gotta
Free.
pay for it.
You don't have to pay for nothing. Okay, you get a ticket, you put your name in, and all like that. And throughout the day, for 7 hours, we will be calling different names for you to win gift baskets. Everybody can enter. Everybody's eligible to win. So, again, we'd love to see you on the 22nd. If you're interested in donating a gift basket for the raffle, please contact me, Sharice, at 570-223-4503. You can also text me at that number or send me an email at metamorphosiswei, one word, at gmail.com. Alrighty then. That
And if
was
you
a
want to
mouthful.
talk to me, call that number.
Yes, call that number.
I'm
and I'll
always-
give the
I'm
phone
always
number to
with her.
too. That's right. That's right. You can talk to any of us, and if you want to talk to Shania, we'll call her too on 3-way. I'm just saying.
Yes.
So, well, Again, for those of you who are running a little bit late, welcome to the cafe. Tonight, we are talking about breaking the chain of generational curses. Breaking the chains. Shh, no more. It stops here, now. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now, today. Okay? And so, if you need to get up and go get something to drink so you can sit through the show, you need to do that right now because we're about to start. All right. But food for thought before we get started.
My leg is falling asleep. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So I'm doing a little dance over here.
All right.
But go ahead.
Do you have some current events for us?
I do.
All right.
I have some small current events because the last time it took forever
All right.
to get through.
There you go.
So, what Juicy is thinking is that
Tell me.
I watched Tim Scott yesterday.
Who's
on
Tim
TV.
Scott?
He's the Republican senator from South Carolina.
Oh.
The only black senator,
Uh-oh.
Republican.
Okay.
Talk about Biden's address. Did you look at it?
I did not.
Girl, bye. Okay, so he basically bashed Biden. And that's okay. But the one thing that got me was he said the United States is not a racist country.
Ouch. Oh,
He said
sorry.
that. And he began to talk about his trials and tribulations of when he grew up and how he was racially attacked by white people. He lived in the South, so he had, some discrimination going on, in his childhood. And he talked about that and how, he got through it or whatever. Then Good Morning America spoke to our vice president and asked her, do you think the United States is a racist country? My girl said no.
Okay. I'm sorry. I had to get up on that one.
My girl said
sorry.
no.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
But she said no with the fact that she doesn't think the country is racist, but we can't excuse the fact that there's racism in the country. Now, is that a nice way of putting it? And saying we're a racist country.
Definitely.
All right, so that was, my basis of my topic today. And she said that what we need to do is speak the truth about what's going on in the country right now. And the fact that we have history of racism in our country. And that's what makes that's what gives us the opportunity to move towards unity. And I just have a little trouble with it,
I'm hurting.
Yeah, I am too. So,
I want
yes?
I want Shania to respond to what you just heard. I'm curious
Okay.
to see what
A
you
young
think.
person's
Yes.
point of view?
Yeah, her point of view.
I feel like I may have a bit of an unpopular opinion,
No, it's fine.
just as a fellow public relations major.
Excuse me one moment. Anything said here on the panel, okay, by the host or guest of Cafe Conversations with the Ladies Room is not a reflection on Roots Living Ministry, any of its subsidiaries, or affiliates. It is solely the opinion of the person on the panel that said it. Continue.
So essentially what I was just going to say is that she's the VP, but at the end of the day, it's an image thing before it's a truth thing. So I kind of take it with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, she cannot get up there and say, like, yes, it's racist, it's this, that, and the third, because at the end of the day, is she representing herself, or is she representing the Democratic Party, who is representing the U.S.? So,
This is true.
yeah, I'm not saying that I
yeah.
agree or disagree. I'm just saying that she's speaking for a brand. It's a brand thing more than it's like a personal opinion thing.
Well,
There's
that was
but so
part of
much they're
my-
going to allow her to say.
That was
you
part
know?
of my whole thing, that it goes to show you politics will tell you anything. They will tell the
Absolutely.
public what they want you to hear, to sometimes confuse you or sometimes not even allow you to have a thought in the process, because they come out with so many so-called facts and different things, and you got to go back and check what they saying just to know what what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
So I agree with that, but I am going to disagree.
Oh, of
This
course.
is a racist country.
Of course.
This is a racist country, and it's always been.
Yeah.
So that's where I fell out for a minute, and then I came back too.
Yeah, I fell off the chair. Did you
She
notice?
was like,
and then had to come back.
But she had to say that, and she spoke very well, and I love her for that because I want to get right up here on this thing, pal, right here, and speak like her without doing this, but speak like her, and and talk like like I know a little something, but.
So someone
She-
asked me, so what do you think as a young black woman? Essentially, America is a very racist country. I feel like the fact that it's even a notion that everybody knows, it's no secret that a black woman has to work twice as hard to get half as far. That wouldn't be a thing.
Yep.
We don't really run on equality. We run on a system, because I know like a lot of people like to say like the system is broken and that's why people are oppressed. No, the system's working. It works perfectly.
For
because
whom it's meant to work for.
Exactly, and
right.
the system was never meant to work for us.
Right.
And I acknowledge that. So yeah, I
Good
definitely think
answer.
that it's a racist country. Yeah.
So the last thing I'm gonna say before we get the show started is that racism will continue if we cannot speak the truth and give accuracy to understanding. We have to teach love. Racism is started in the home, in my opinion. It's not. We are not born racist, so we have to teach it. Teach love, not teach racism. But people do teach racism, is why it's here.
Hence
Our
generational
generational curse.
curses.
That's where I went with that.
That's
So
right.
we're gonna start talking.
I feel like
about
teach
that.
love, but also teach awareness. I think in
Absolutely.
order to move forward, you have to understand where you came from.
So that means we have to teach with the love that there is hate. So we
Right.
have to teach it.
Yeah.
That's true.
So let's go.
That's
Sharice.
true.
Juicy's finished.
And drop the mic.
And drop the mic. Yes.
A generational curse describes the cumulative effect on a person of things that their ancestors did, believed, or practiced in the past, and a consequence of an ancestor's actions, beliefs, and sins being passed down. Our family's history and baggage impacts who we are as people, whether we like it or not. You may consider your family a blessing or consider them a burden because of the long history of negative traits or good traits they've passed down. People.
Yes, ma'am.
First and foremost, and I always got to play devil's advocate.
Got you.
So this devil's advocate is going to say this. I truly don't believe, okay, that what happens in my life has anything to do, okay, with what happened in my past, with my parents or my grandparents, because I am my own person and I get to decide what's going to happen in my life. I get to control my own destiny.
You really believe that? That you don't think
I said I'm
that-
playing devil's advocate.
Oh, okay.
I have to play devil's advocate. If we all agree, it'd be a boring show. Wouldn't it?
It's very hard for me to look you in your face and play devil's advocate with those words, but okay.
Well,
So-
do you believe in generational curses,
I do.
ladies?
Do you?
Yeah, and I don't really like the word generational curses, but generational trauma.
Well, there's curses, there's trauma, there's all types of stuff, but yes, go ahead.
Explain.
So generational trauma is essentially the thing that a lot of people shape because it's like nature versus nurture type of thing. So when you guys say, okay, because you said there's a difference between generational curses and generational trauma.
No, there's not a difference. There's different types of generational curses. So then they say, in listing them, trauma is one of them, and then it goes on from there. But go ahead.
So what else would be a subcategory of generational curses?
I don't have that information, do you?
No. I
No,
mean, I
okay, you're a
wasn't
devil's
expecting
advocate.
that. But okay.
But it's okay.
That-
I mean, she can vibe off of trauma. Go ahead.
Wait, huh?
You can talk about the generational trauma versus a curse, meaning it's the same thing.
Oh, but I feel like generational curse is taking on a victimhood. Generational trauma is acknowledging the environment that you grew up in, because at the end of the day, trauma is not your fault, but healing from that trauma is your responsibility. So that's
Okay.
why I don't like saying curses, because it takes on a victim mentality, and I don't believe in being a victim to
I
life.
like that.
Right. That's a very good point. But there are people who don't believe that they are in any type of trauma. That it's just because this is how my family is, or they've never gotten help. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So they don't recognize.
but I agree that, but not acknowledging trauma is a trauma response too.
Right. Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's subjective, but
Mm-hmm.
essentially it is like nurturing, and that does play a factor in who it is that you decide to be, and it is your responsibility to acknowledge that it does play a factor. um Generational curses or trauma doesn't have to always be like a bad thing either, though.
Right.
Like,
Right.
it's
It
not like
doesn't.
you don't have to take on that identity. You
Right.
don't have to take on what it is that's just like the environment that you grew up in, but that doesn't mean that like that's
You
your
have to
identity.
stay there. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I believe that.
yeah.
100%.
Well, I also tag teaming, piggybacking off of what you said. I also do believe that um, your trauma can become your curse. You
Yes.
know,
Okay.
your
Yes.
trauma will become your curse if you do nothing to change. You know
Right.
what I'm saying, or to break the chains, as we said.
Right.
And
And even examples here: alcohol, drugs, poverty, education.
Those are the
Exactly.
lists of generational curses.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't have that in my
Oh,
mental,
I got you.
but now that it's there, that is what
Yeah.
it is.
I
yeah,
gotcha.
and I also think those are things too that can just be trauma issues.
Yeah, you don't have to take it on. It's
Right.
still something that you don't have to take on.
and you don't have to live with it. But here's the thing. I want to go back to something you said before about acknowledging it, and something she said that sometimes people don't want to acknowledge it. And
You don't, because some people saw their mother get beat by their father, right?
and think
and-
that's normal.
Exactly.
That's
so
what I was
when
gonna
they
say.
beat their women, they think that's love or supposed to be.
Hmm.
And then as they get older, they figure it out that it's not the way to go. It's wrong, and you can get arrested, and you can get sent to jail, and all that stuff. But it's like an impulse of doing it because it's what they come from. It's not necessarily in their DNA, but it's what they saw so much of. They don't know how to fix it in their brain if they don't get the therapy they need to, stop that.
And sometimes they don't come out of it.
Sometimes they don't.
Sometimes they don't come out of it. And it manifests itself in different ways.
Hence
it's-
DMX. We won't go there, but I'm just giving him as an example because he was very into. It was like a demon, a curse on him.
Yeah, I don't know any of his back. What is his
Well,
backstory?
he was, he was put into foster care. Taken to a foster care,
Okay.
left there by his mom.
Okay.
She said, "Oh, we're going to visit." She put him there, left him there.
So
Then
his
he
trauma.
was-
So his trauma has led to his curse of whatever else
Of coping
happened
with
in
it.
his life,
and things
right,
like that,
and stuff like that, and that's a sad story. That's a
Oh,
sad
no, it's
story
very
because
sad.
there's so many people who live it, and
the thieving, the robbing, the stealing, all of that.
I also think too, just the mental part.
I
of
love
it.
DMX, by the way.
I
do.
just the mental state of mind. The concept of, well, I am this way because my mother was this way,
Yeah.
or this is all I know, so I won't do any different because why should I be doing any different?
I don't know how to do different.
I think
Right.
some people don't know to
They
do
don't.
different.
They don't.
That's one thing I can say, because like, even if I'm being like honest, you don't know until you see different. So
They
if
don't.
that's what you're seeing 24/7, you think that is normal until you're introduced to something that reinforces that it's not. But it's like, now that I know better, what am I going to do to take that leap to do better.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think a lot of people get to the point where it's like they know, okay, this is different, but I think the pivotal point is, now that I know, what is my next step? And that's where a lot of people get hung up, because it's either there are people that choose to take the path, the harder path of, I'm going to take this off of me because I don't want to live a life like this. I want to do different. But then you got other people that are just, that think that they're in too deep. So they just choose to emanate that identity from their family, and hence another generation, right, created. Or you get people that are just like, okay, well, I acknowledge it, but it is what it is. Like, I'm not willing to do the work to do something different or to be different.
It's a lot of work to change.
Yeah. So I want to divert just for a hot second. Okay. And it's a question for you, Shania, because what we're talking about kind of ties into the work that you do. You know, can you tell us a little bit about In Her Beauty and what In Her Beauty is?
Sure. I love that question. So, In Her Beauty is a brand that I created with the intention of helping women break through generational trauma, generational curses, basically just learning how to stop fighting yourself and actually digging to find your most authentic and strongest self. And not only to find that inner power that exists within you, but how can you emanate that outwards to be a reflection of the rest of your life. At the end of the day, I truly believe how good or bad your life is starts with you. Like I said, I don't believe in victimhood. Like, I'm not a victim, I'm a victor. Every single thing that I go through is a seed to get me to the next level. I do wholeheartedly believe that everything is placed in my life for a reason, whether it sucks or not. Like, but at the end of the day, I can choose. Like, am I going to go through life and go through the storm, or am I going to cower from the storm and stay average or stay hurt, stay broken? And In Her Beauty essentially is telling you to choose higher. Choose the best form of life, because the one thing I don't want to do, or don't want anybody to do, is to get to your last day, and then when you actually do meet your maker, he's like, look, this is what you did in life, and this is what I wanted you to do.
Yeah.
If you really if you left this earth today and he told you this is what I had planned for you, I think we will all be kind of upset, because we all kind of operate on fear, whether we want to or not, or operate on insecurities, operate on trauma, victimhood, intentionally or not intentionally. But at the end of the day, it's like, you don't have to live life like that, and it doesn't have to rule you, because I could have anything I want in this world, anything.
Right.
So-
Agreed. That's a very
Except
good
for
way to
Dippin'
look at
Dots right now. So
Yeah, I've been trying to get Dippin' Dots all day.
it. That
You
is,
know,
that's
no, that's
That's deep, but
That's
I
deep,
just,
and the reason I kind of wanted you to put that out there is because, how old are you?
I'm 23.
Okay, and at 23, you are realizing that there is a way to break the cycle. That some people who are in their
50s.
I was trying to take it a little bit later, but yeah, 50s,
saying.
60s, 70s, in their later years, let's
Yeah.
just
Right.
say, in their later years, have yet to realize that there is a way out.
I think it was because, for me personally, when I had that first bad situation where I felt like I hit rock bottom, my whole mentality was, there has to be life better than this. This can't be the end. Like, there has to be something better than this. So I was hungry to find that answer, which led me to therapy, which led me to self-help books, which led me to Sarah Jakes Roberts, which led me back to church. Like, I wasn't going to church, so it was the desire to find better that got me there. And I think a lot of people need to take on that like, if you want something bad enough, you'll be surprised the doors that open, you know?
Right. I just know that, like, when we talked about the list of generational curses, traumas, things like that, when you realize it, obviously you're older than your younger years when you don't realize it, because you're young, you don't know what's going on, you just know you're in it. So there has to be a point where you figure out, something ain't right, this ain't what I'm supposed to do, this isn't me, let me try to see what it is that I need to be doing, and then you move on and you get where you are.
Definitely.
Hopefully young, but if not, older.
And that's
Hopefully
okay.
not too old, and that is okay.
Yeah.
But there's also trauma like health issues, for instance.
Right.
My mother, for example, was very sick with a disease called Castleman's disease.
Mhm.
She lived 2 years after the diagnosis, and she used to say to us, "There's no way I'm going to be able to live like this. So I know I'm not going to live much longer."
Mhm.
But we used to be like, "Ma, stop. Yes, you will.
Right,
We're gonna-
right.
We got you.
Don't claim it.
Don't claim it.
Don't claim it.
But there is an end to trauma. That's a health trauma per se. She didn't have that all her life, but when she got it, they didn't know what to do with her.
Right.
So there was the end, and she couldn't see past that. Now, the other example is the fact that I always wanted to be a nurse.
Mhm.
I went to nursing school. I went to medical assistant school. I went to this school, that school, everybody's school. I was actively working in the hospital, administratively, clerically. I began to work with patients, drawing bloods, doing this and that. And I was stuck with a needle.
Oh wow.
That ended any nursing career that I wanted. That ended it. Now, I've worked in healthcare over 30, 40 years now. I'm be 56. I've been working in healthcare since I was 16. I know people get stuck. I know people get stuck with all types of needles.
Lord.
And I know that they make it. They're all right. Doctors get stuck all the time. I mean, not habitually, not in a habit form, but they do. But for me, that ended it. Now, when I meet my maker, because that's what made me think of it when you said it, he's probably going to tell me that's what you're supposed to be doing, because everything I do is to help somebody else.
Gotcha.
Everything I do, even when my husband got hurt in the hospital, I stayed there and I did everything the nurses did for him. I did it if they couldn't.
Right.
Everything. Even fix his IV. If it got clogged, I unclogged it. But I just couldn't do it. So if that was my calling, I missed it. Now I'm on to something else. But,
Not necessarily. I think you could have more than one calling.
okay.
And
Thank
I
you.
learned that this
makes
year.
me feel better.
I believe that.
No,
That makes me feel
I
better.
definitely learned that this year, because anybody that knows me knows that, like, I just knew I was like, I'm a dancer and nothing else. It didn't matter what else. I don't care about my character development, because I'm a dancer and I'm a dancer for Beyonce, and that's all that matters.
Right.
And then I actually realized that I don't know, like, healing is fun for me. It sucks. I promise you, it sucks. But the process is just the most beautiful thing to me. Like, it really is just like, how do you not love getting to know yourself?
True.
You know?
Yeah. True.
And I love helping other people do that too.
Yeah.
And there was a time where I actually felt guilty about the fact that I was doing that more than I was dancing. But again, I took on that identity of, I'm a dancer, so I can't have an identity outside of that. That was me that was limiting what it was I was able to do.
Right.
So essentially, maybe, like, all this time, like, you were, like, limiting yourself, thinking that the only identity that you could conform with and identify as was a nurse. But maybe he did call you to be a nurturer in general. You can nurture without being a nurse.
You can.
You know?
You can. And I worked in healthcare since I was 16. I worked in a private doctor's office after school. I worked for Harlem Hospital. I worked for this hospital. I was a student typist. I retyped all the nursing manuals. I was always in healthcare, and
I think one of the other things too that made
Oh, no, I don't mean the these
What
comments
the-
kind of
what
funny.
the-
I'm not gonna
tell
lie.
us.
Langston
better than
Hughes,
us.
what happens to a dream deferred? Like, it's a poem by Langston Hughes.
oh, okay.
And it's true. It's like
Repeat
when
it
you
for me.
when you put off a day.
Repeat it for me. I missed
The
it.
question.
What happens
Oh.
to a dream deferred?
Yeah,
Oh, what happens to a dream deferred?
Right,
I
is the
see.
name of the play by Langston Hughes. And the truth of it, what happens to a dream deferred? What happens when we decide to put off or stray from our callings? And
You
and
get
sometimes
a-
we
you-
don't
you-
know
you
that
get
we're
a-
straying.
You got a husband that's upset. My husband's
that-
like, oh, you need to go back to school still till this day. I said, Ricky, hang it up.
That's another show.
Hang it up.
Wait, and then the other comment says, in my opinion, one of the biggest lies in Christianity is name it and claim it. Nonsense. Use your God-given talents to give it.
I agree
Mercy.
I agree with that too. But wait. Before we respond to that,
Uh-huh.
before we respond to that, I kind of want to go back for 2 seconds
Sure.
and address something that you both kind of touched on, which was you were saying that a lot of times generational or things, trauma that has happened in your past, you kind of realized later on in life that it was that's kind of been holding you back. And you said that you kind of got to the point early in your life where you're like, nah, I'm not going to be a victim, I'm going to be a victor. And what I wanted to say to both of those statements was that we live in a different time and age also than our parents and our grandparents.
Right.
We live in an information age,
Right.
where things that used to be kept behind closed doors, literally what happens in this house stays in this house syndrome.
Yes.
Okay. That was people live by that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
it's terrible.
couldn't go out and tell somebody in the name of I'm seeking counseling that your mama beat you, or your brother touched you, or your uncle did this, or you understand what I'm saying? Or that someone in your house could not read, so you can't get help with your homework and do better in school, because your father was dyslexic or your mother just couldn't illiterate. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And those things we didn't talk about. A lot of the things that we consider generational curses. We didn't talk about money issues.
Right.
We didn't talk about, raising the children and how, raising them certain ways to do certain things would breed certain kind of kids. You know what I'm saying? Spare the rod, spoil the child. We grew up getting our behinds beat.
Yep.
And
if you didn't beat your child, something was wrong with you.
now if you beat your child, it's considered, child abuse. But I'm looking at the end product of a lot of these kids that are not being beat. Okay, and I'm not saying beat them to where they can't breathe and they're bleeding and all like that. But I'm saying every so often, right? Okay,
Well, I hope
that's right. I'm just saying.
you're going to have an interesting relationship with my kids, because I don't plan to beat my kids. I think
You
that
guys didn't get beat.
My kids didn't get beat either.
didn't get beat, but it was also because I respected your word, and that's actually what I was gonna get at too. Like, I think a lot of times beating kind of comes down to you're enforcing fear. Like, are they not doing X, Y, and Z because they actually understand the problem with the action, or are they just are they not doing it out of fear
Which is
of
true.
getting like reprimanded for it?
Right.
You know? So it's like, even if it's something as like me saying a bad word, why get beat when you can sit here and say, now Shania, we don't say words like that, because at the end of the day, that's disrespectful. That's considered rude,
Or to hurt
and you
someone
wouldn't want to
else's
disrespect
feelings.
mommy, right?
The fear tactic is sometimes necessary depending on the child, and I must say that.
I mean, but you know what that creates? Generational trauma.
It can, but
Beating.
it depends. You don't have to beat them, because I could look at mine and be like, and it didn't mean they were getting beat,
Right.
but it meant there was going to be a problem when we get home.
I
But
get
you
it.
can look at some of them like that, and they look back at you like, what?
That's what I'm saying.
But
It
again,
depends on the
what is the
children.
common denominator, though? A lack of respect.
Right.
So it's like, at the end of the day, a child can fear you and not respect you. So at the end of the day, are they behaving because they respect you, or are they behaving because they fear you? I'm not saying either way is wrong. I'm just saying that for my kids, I don't want my children to fear me, because what starts off as you being scared of a way I'm looking at you, or me hitting you, turns into you not telling me that you out here having sex at
Exactly.
16.
Yeah.
Like,
It just doesn't
I
work
just
for all
don't
children. It
think-
just doesn't.
Let's go back a little bit further than that. Okay? Because I got my behind tapped, like I said. You know what I'm saying?
I feel so
more,
sorry for
more
you.
than I care to
handle.
remember. Exactly.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
I
I got
get you.
my behind tapped and all like that. And the one thing that did happen was when I was raising them, okay, I did not do the beating thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I did the timeout thing, and
Yeah.
and fair enough. It did work except for Hassani. Okay, there was one. Okay, but
Always.
but there's always one.
Always.
But no, the timeout thing did work. You know what I'm saying? And even with him, sit down, and his thing was like, I'm gonna get up. Sit down. I'm gonna get up.
It's because he thought it was a game.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know what I'm saying? And he thought it was
It was
fun.
a challenge.
But but again, you have to learn
You have to know the child.
personalities
Yeah.
of the child.
You do.
But sometimes you have to go back and look at what happened when you were a child. You know what I'm saying? How did your parents relate to each other? You know what I'm saying? Did you grow up in a household where they were always arguing and fighting? Did you grow up in a household where there was a lot of love that was displayed between them? You know what I'm saying? How did they speak to each other? What was said? How did they address each other? You know what I'm saying?
No, it's
so,
true.
And
I agree.
I know with me, a lot of it was, my concern was how they saw me when I was reacting to
Either of them.
my husband.
Oh, your husband.
No,
Okay.
my husband.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because in talking to him, if I was angry, and I admit, I had anger issues. I had anger issues before I even met him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And my anger issues about the things that happened before I met him affected the way I dealt with him.
Right.
Which affected the way she saw him and the way she saw me.
Right.
And
the
it
way
affected,
she may see other men in her life.
right. And then how she goes on to handle her relationships
Right. Absolutely.
and rearing her children.
Right.
So
Agreed.
this is why I say, it comes a point where we have to just break the link. We
Break
have
the
to say,
chain, break the
listen,
chain.
and own our part in, where this thing continues, the wheel continues to turn and turn and turn and turn.
That's
Like
why I say healing is effective before having kids. Like, we were talking about this
Yeah.
yesterday. Like,
I believe that.
if you're
You're
not
healed.
together,
Yeah.
don't have trauma babies, Like, it's just not fair to the
That's
child.
very easy to say, but sometimes children are reared in that way.
Yeah. And I'm not saying, look,
But it's a
different
a
strokes for
thinking
different
It's
folks.
a thinking process. You do
Yes.
need to know, before you make that step. People just don't think of it.
And listen, okay. So actually, my next point is going to come up in the next part of this segment, and the next part of this segment is, how can we begin to break the chain? Because now we've identified that these things kind of go on with us. It's like, we know alcohol can travel with you through the generations. This is what you learn. You know what I'm saying? Abuse and stuff. Poverty.
Is
I know a lot of people who think it's all right not to have anything, and I can't understand that, because they're like, my mom's and my pops was good and I turned out all right, so there's no reason why I need to have more. And you're like,
because they don't know that more is available to them. Someone that is operating from an abundance mindset, I feel like it's not going to feel like that. But I feel like naturally, because of the financial strain and the generational trauma that just our people have gone through, a lot of us don't think that certain things are just available to us. So we just kind of settle as in, well, this is the life I was given, this is the best I can get, and that's not true.
right.
not, right.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, like I said, it's a very scary process to try to figure out what the opposite is when you've always seen one way. But the way I see it, go
Was it
hard, die
always-
trying. Like, I gotta try at least and see
Well,
what's
the
there.
worst that can happen if you try and there is nothing is that you go back to where you were.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? That's the worst case scenario. But I would hate to find out later that there was a brighter side,
Exactly.
and I didn't go for it,
Right.
than to go, oh, there's a brighter side, and I tried, and I was only able to get a little bit. I may not have gotten
Right.
it all, but I was able to get a little bit,
I feel like in terms of your question, I mean, I can only answer based on what I did, but I treated my healing as if I was in rehab, you know? Like, take the full process. Like, first, I'm going to actually acknowledge that I'm not happy with the situation. I feel like a lot of times, too, sometimes what stunts your healing is that nobody ever wants to, like, think that they're betraying their family by saying that how I grew up just doesn't work for me. So I want to do something different, you know? Like, and a lot of families actually get offended.
They do.
So you go into therapy, so you think you can't talk to us. So
Yeah.
you go to college, so you think you better than us. So you choose to actually love being in your skin. So you think you better than me because you actually like yourself. Like, like a
Yeah.
lot of people project onto you
Yeah.
if you allow them to.
It's
So
true.
aside from acknowledging it, it also came down to me actually mapping it out. Who does Shania look like in her highest form? Like, what does that look like?
Right.
I feel like you can't fix something if you don't really have a direction that you're moving in. So
Or
I
even
wrote out,
acknowledge that it's broken.
right.
Right.
So I literally wrote out every single thing that I wanted, from what does the perfect husband look like to me, all the way down to buys me McDonald's when I don't even tell him I want it, you know? Like, everything. What does the perfect support system and friends look like to me? What does the highest form of my career look like? What does, if money was not a problem, what would my daily life look like? What would I pursue? You know, like, just what if nothing was an obstacle for me, what would my highest life and my highest self look like?
And what were some
That's
of
a
your
nice.
answers?
That's a nice list stretched out.
Yeah.
Very far.
Soul searching is fun. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, cause it's actually
Well, to some
fun
people
when you.
it's depressing. I'm gonna say because you can want all you want. If you don't go for it or know halfway how, it's all on paper. But
That's-
it's
yeah.
not a disadvantage to do. It is a healing, and that's what you should do.
And sometimes you gotta see it on paper though to know
You
that
do.
it's possible.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm,
I'm a journaler. I journal
I
everything.
didn't type none of this because I
Right.
need to see it on paper.
Wait, what was your question?
I was asking, how did you begin to answer your questions? Like, you were saying that you made out a list,
Mm-hmm.
all the way down to, what qualities you wanted your husband to have, your soul, your mate,
Mhm.
and everything, your children, and all that kind of stuff. I said, how did you devise your answers? Where did
Oh.
you begin on your journey of healing? Where did you begin? If you were given, actually, let's put it into a In Her Beauty session. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? If you were talking to someone who came to you with your same scenario, what would you say to her?
Oh, answer simple. So once I wrote down everything, nah, it's so funny because it's like the answer is so simple. Like, we sometimes we just overthink life. And it really is a simple answer, but it's just hard work. But it's a simple answer. So for example, like, I'll just use like the kids and the husband, right? After I wrote out the list of like a perfect husband and like what my perfect family would look like, I literally just had to ask myself, if that man walked past me today, would he look twice at me? Am I the person, like, I know what type of person I want, but am I the type of person that a man of that caliber would want? I'm saying I want a high quality man, a high quality relationship. Am I that person yet, or do I have work? Normally that's how I start to notice, like, okay, so this is what I gotta work on in order for that man to wanna receive me also.
Okay, now there is no perfection in any of that.
I'm not saying that perfection
No.
exists, but
Oh, because
perfection exists, but like what I'm not about to do though is like I'm not
Settle.
gonna settle.
it's not about settling, but you got to know good. A person that's for you may not even be the person on that list. Honestly speaking, you could make that list high quality, bigger than life, and then try to make yourself fit that man.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
I don't think it's like fitting a man. I think it's
No,
more
fitting those
so.
qualities that you want in a man, because you want to match. You want to make sure that you bring to the table what you want.
But it's the same thing as a job. If I'm saying that I want to be a CEO
But
of a
jobs are
company, am I
different.
not going to tailor myself to be the best version of that candidate? It's the same thing.
You can, but
It's just not only with men. I'm just saying that was just an example, but I'm saying
Yeah,
in general,
it's-
the life that I want to live, I need to be the individual that I need to be in order to live that life.
but that's the individual that you need to be, not
Exactly.
for whoever it is that you want.
But it's not doing it for him. But I'm
Right.
saying I can't be a 5, but asking for 10 quality, but I'm only putting in 50%. Like, I'm not even that person. That's like saying I want to have a mansion, but I'm not willing to put in the work in order to be able to afford it.
That is correct.
Exactly.
That
So,
is
like I'm
correct.
saying, so that's how
Right.
I choose to look at my relationships and just the quality of my life overall. In order to have a certain quality of life, I need to be a certain person. I have to have a certain heart. I have to have a certain heart posture and be in a certain spiritual realm in order to position myself to allow that life to come to me.
I agree, and I also agree too. Is in some respect, you attract what you emanate. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? You attract what you emanate. It's true.
No,
It's,
I'm not disagreeing. I'm
you
not,
know, I'm not saying this for everybody.
No.
I'm just saying.
I understand and agree. I'm laughing because what I emulated and what I got,
No, but
I'm just
but
saying.
apparently what you
But
got
it matched. It fit. It
what
did.
what you needed.
It did.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
did.
It may not fit what somebody else needed,
No,
but it
did.
fit what you
But
needed.
that's why I'm laughing to myself, not about the
Oh.
situation, because it is real. It is true. I'm just saying that because my husband is so different from me, so different from me. It's funny. Like he's really different from me, but it worked, like you said.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it
It's
depends on what
nothing
you
like-
emulate.
I mean,
the-
but different
the
is
man-
not bad though, because like even
It's
looking
not
at this
bad.
comment,
It's
somebody
not
saying
bad.
like, "Don't let perfect be the enemy of good." There are no perfect husbands or wives for that matter. I feel like I
True.
get what y'all saying, but I also think that y'all taking what I'm saying very
literal.
literal.
Yeah.
Perfect not meaning no faults. I'm saying perfect for me.
Right.
We
Mesh.
yes, we're
Right.
very
and it
compatible.
works.
Yes, I'm that's what I mean by perfect. But also too, on that list, if you look at the highest quality, I'm not saying that you make the list and it's he has to be everything on this list, but it's telling me that it's possible, so you can get as close
Right.
as possible to it. You don't have to settle.
Right.
Like that's just how I look at it. But yeah, I would definitely do that. It's more so doing that. Read. Read books. For me, like, so I'm Christian, so I watch sermons on things that like I want higher quality in. Sarah Jakes Roberts, that is my girl. I'm telling you.
Agreed.
I will sit there.
Agreed.
That girl told me to get my act together in like 5 different ways, and she didn't even say get your act together. Like that's how real it is. But I also feel like it does take a level of honesty to also realize within yourself that you have work to do and you have to actively choose to do different. It's little stuff like, for example, just like, okay, so for example, no shade, right? But you used to do a thing where nah, like and she got better though, but she used to do a thing where
I'm a mom too, because I'm on her side. What she did?
it's funny.
What?
She did a thing where when mail would come in, back when like we had financial hardships, she would avoid the mail and she would toss it. So as a result, like mail was piling up, and as a result, bills were piling up, and naturally, because bills are piling up, your financial situation it's
getting
just
worse.
not
It's out of
good.
control.
Exactly. So one thing that I wanted to do different for me is she knows
Open
I have
every mail.
that, and I have 4 bank accounts. I have a bank account specifically for bills, and I have it where my job sends 85% of my check to that. I don't even see my bills. It gets taken care of, but I don't even have to look at it. So the money that is in my bank account is just my money to spend because everything else got taken care of. So when I do see an envelope of a bill, like I'm not panicking because like you get what I mean? Like it's like little stuff like that. Or even if a bill
Where was
is
she
coming.
when we was young?
See, and that's how I was gonna let her finish,
I'm
and
sorry.
I was gonna
I
address
couldn't-
that
I couldn't
because
hold
see,
on. I couldn't.
there was a difference in the way they grew up and
the
the
way you grew up.
understanding
Yes.
of credit and the understanding of the importance of your money and managing your money and saving
Right.
money for a rainy day and all like that. Where I've said this before, you know what I'm saying? My mama said to me,
Money was meant to be spent.
money not only was money meant to be spent, don't worry about the bills right now that you can't pay. You got to feed your kids. You do what you got to do for your family now, and you worry about that bill later.
Yeah.
You know, now at 51, that bill is later, and now I'm trying to clean up
Oh, I understand.
what it, what
And
has happened
and like
in
a
the
really
past.
good
And we didn't
practice
even
of
have
that. living beyond your. I mean, living beneath your means.
Or
You have to
within,
live
or even
beneath
within
it.
your
Yes.
means,
Yes.
But I don't even think within. I think it should be beneath. But I'm extra. Like, I'm that person that I'm just like, I don't need that smoothie. I don't need to eat out. I could do laundry. I can go travel. Like, I'll drive 2 hours to do laundry just because that's $40 I don't have to pay. Like, it's like little stuff. Like, I'll be
good to be
a penny pinch.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait, what
But
happened?
She had
I
it.
say,
She
ain't it
has
good to be
it
able to
like
come
that.
home?
You know, we couldn't do that.
But I don't even think it's that I have it like that. I made it like that. So it's
to
like,
go home and do laundry. No.
I did make it like that. Because
No,
I
you
didn't
have it
have
like
to
that.
do that. I could spend the money in Philly.
But what if you could not go home?
Then I would still find another way. But I'm saying, like,
That's all I'm saying.
okay, because you like have it like that. I
You
feel
have
like
it
it's
like
like a
that
sense
to
of
go-
privilege, but it's like I'm
No,
not,
it
it's not
said-
necessarily
it's
privilege.
It's always said that way, but it's real. You have it. You have the capability of going home. If you did not, you would find another way, and it wouldn't be that way.
It'll be free though.
Whatever, but you don't know.
I can
because-
finesse. I am a
I mean,
finesser.
you take them off, you go in the bathroom and you wash them with soap and water.
No,
you bring 'em out
seriously.
and you hang them up so that you always have clean
Seriously,
hands.
no,
There's
because I
always
will
a
tell
will,
y'all
there's a
now.
way.
Yeah.
Because even when I was in school at Howard University in the Harriet Tubman Quad, and I'm only bringing it up because I saw today that they got renovated and they have laundry rooms.
Oh,
We
okay.
didn't have laundry. Like, we had laundry rooms, but the laundry didn't work, so it didn't make sense. I was in that communal bathroom scrubbing with the soap
Clothes.
and hanging it up. Like, you do what you got to do, but I wasn't gonna spend money on laundry. Like, it's like still like the money management thing. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's just a matter of discipline. Discipline is a very big thing. Just
It is.
even in everything, something as simple as an argument. I could scream at you and insult you, or I can choose to keep my cool because I know that screaming doesn't get us anywhere.
Right.
You know? So
100%.
Well, we're running out of time, but one of the things I want to do is just offer some suggestions to how you can start the healing journey to breaking those generational curses. You know, we don't have to be plagued with those things that were in our past, you know, or that we grew up with. We have the option of moving forward and being happy, you know, when we're moving forward.
Fixing it.
So, exactly. So, in beginning the healing journey, there's a couple of things I'd just like for you to keep in mind, okay? Talk to your loved ones. Talking to your loved ones about the things that you don't know, you'll find opens up a lot of clarity about things that you may be feeling something about that you don't have answers for, you know, and you don't understand why it's sticking with you. You know, talking to your family members might make a big difference. But no expectations. Why? Because the expectations that you have may not meet the answers that you get. So approach those conversations with an open mind as much as possible, and know that you may hear things that are going to be hurtful, and it's going to be is going to be amazing to you, or it might be frightful to you. But in doing so, you will find that having the answers, no matter what they are, will help you to be able to move past what you're going through, your trauma. Reflect on the existing generational curses in your life and manifest how to move past them. Figure it out, okay? Investigate your own life. Do your behaviors reflect bad patterns? What destructive actions have you learned from older generations in your family? Identify them and then deal with them. Identify the ways you want your life and behaviors to be different. Track your change. Use a whiteboard or a journal. Track your feelings and changes day by day and week by week, and see if you're making progress. You know, see if you're making progress. Pray for those of you who, you know, have a spiritual connection with whomever. You know, pray. Pray for the strength to fight the ingrained habits and to be able to change them. Serenity prayer is posted in my bathroom every morning. Posted in my bathroom. Celebrate your successes as you transition away from those generational curses. And finally, seek support. You do not have to go through this alone. You'd be surprised. There are so many people who are in your corner, but you won't know who's there until you ask. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in the cafe tonight. Shania,
Yes,
thank
yes.
you for joining us.
Thank
You know,
much.
here
It's
and giving
fun.
us your opinion.
have to
It's,
come
it's
back.
great to hear,
Definitely.
you know, a younger person's point of view because
It's way different from ours.
yeah, exactly. And we think differently. So we definitely needed that. Ladies and gentlemen, be safe. Take care. We love you. We'll see you next week here.